master. Dinner is served. Igor, it's not that I don't appreciate the effort, but you know I prefer my meals uncooked. And how many times have I told you about using garlic? Yes, master. Forgive me, master. Please. Bite into Paradelphia. Thursday nights at 8, only on Toxic Radio. Paradelphia, because what if it's all true?
While you're rocking with us at Toxic Radio, don't forget to check us out on social media.
I want details, and I want them right now.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Now you're talking, brother.
Chat with us, keep up on news. Just don't make it weird. Don't be a stalker. Don't be that guy.
You just want to suck the joy out of everything.
Toxic Radio. Get infected.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Taking It Deep, your favorite time of the week. That's right, we got a bunch to talk about today. The GameStop saga continues. Things happening around that. It is pre-Super Bowl Thursday, meaning we're on our way to the Super Bowl. A lot of interesting bets for even the fan out there that might be a novice or just happening to be watching the Super Bowl because people are getting together or aren't getting together. People I know aren't having as big as parties as they usually have this year. Kind of sad. But seems like hope is on the horizon for everybody to, have a normal life come spring. They're saying. So let's all be hopeful. I'm pretty sure we all want that. I want more people back on the road so I can get road rage. Don't you?
I want roadhead.
Roadhead?
Yes.
All right. Well, I mean, it's not bad.
No?
I've had
No?
it.
Okay.
I've
No.
received. You never had Roadhead, Jamie?
I have.
You have?
Yes.
Jamie doesn't look like a big roadhead guy.
No.
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 Not necessarily. It's only once, as a
When he
matter
was
of fact.
when he was a kid. He was a wee lad of 10.
A wee lad of 10. Yeah, well.
I don't know about 10.
Well,
You're
I was
probably not far
I think
off.
I was 13 when it first happened. Sorry for taking your show on a curveball, but
Yeah, right? That's a fucking U-turn.
that's a big time U-turn. Let's
Come
send
to
it
a
back over.
screeching halt.
Let's send it back over to Godfrey.
Yes, and I'm back. 856-485-9565 you want to call in. And tons to talk about, like I said. We're going to go down the list real quick, give you a little taste as we go through it. Plenty of honorable mentions this week. I know someone last week said, hey, where are the honorable mentions at? Robin Hood we'll talk about. Shitty bosses we're going to talk about. What kind do you hate, and do you have one? If you want to call in anonymously, message me on the show, 856-485-9565. You can watch us live on Taking It Deep with Godfrey on Facebook. You can watch us on YouTube, /Don't Play It Toxic. Or Play It Toxic.
Play it toxic.
Almost got it. God damn it.
So close.
856-485-9565. Like I said, if you want to call in, give us a little shout on the chat. And you're going to hear me clear my throat a lot today because that seemed to happen.
What is that all about?
Right before the show went on
What
air.
is that all about? It's
I think I have
craziness.
like an allergic reaction to sugar.
An allergic reaction to sugar that makes you...
I don't know.
Inflammation type deal. I don't know.
I heard him outside as I was walking up to the door.
Uh-huh.
You probably did.
It's ridiculous.
Speaking of ridiculous and, and sad, Screech has passed. We were talking, I think we mentioned him last week.
Yeah, I think you did too, yeah.
But he said he had stage 4 cancer, but he didn't pass as of that time. And unfortunately, since then, he has passed. You know what's interesting? I always find it really interesting when someone dies and they were someone that most people disliked. And then when they died, they're like, oh my God, I'm so sad he's gone.
Now, did you... First off, here's a really great... This is horrible picture of him, but it shows him before and after. So here's Screech as a kid from Saved by the Bell, And
that's him in jail.
That's him in jail. So no, but
way to piss on the man's grave.
So,
Jesus. Let the body cool off.
I'm sorry, it was the first one that came up. No, but that morning, when I believe it was that morning, it was reported that of his final wishes. Did you hear this?
No.
In an interview with The Sun, his friend
he had a son?
In the Sun, S-U-N.
Oh.
With The Sun.
Oh.
His friend Dan Block revealed that one of Dustin Diamond's final wishes was to meet Tool bass guitar player Justin Chancellor, as he has been learning several Tool songs in hopes of starting a Tool tribute band. He also had a dying wish to go to the Star Wars thing in Florida at Disney World.
You want to go to Disney World? I mean, hey, I'm not going to yuck anybody's yums that are dying, but did he go?
He did. This was like the morning before he died, that after he was diagnosed with cancer, and they had told him he had about 4 months to live. His dying wishes were to meet the bass player from Tool and to go to the Star Wars theme park part of the Disney World.
Disney,
yeah. I forget. I know I saw it. Here it is. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. There are two things Dustin asked for: the ability to talk to Justin Chancellor about music, and to be able to visit Disney World to see Star Wars Galaxy Edge. Those were his dying wishes and never got to happen.
Poor bastard.
Yeah.
But isn't that funny, though? A lot of people didn't like, Screech, but when he dies, they're like, oh, man. I just feel like fake empathy sometimes makes me want to throw up a little bit.
But I right away went and saw like Mario Lopez's and whatever the guy's name, the blonde hair from Saved by the Bell. Jesus Christ,
Mark something or other.
Yeah, Mark something.
They
or
probably
other.
used to tag team chicks together.
But they didn't discuss him in his current. They did resort back to remembering working with him and back then. So they didn't. They mentioned it in a way that.
But I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about people in general that covered him.
Sorry.
And people. But yeah, no, I would expect that from them because even if you work with someone you don't like them, you don't wish death on anybody unless you're an evil son of a bitch.
Especially at the age that he was at.
Yeah.
44,
right?
44.
Jesus, way too young.
And that's the thing. As we get older, you realize how young that really is. It's insanely young.
So he was on Celebrity Boxing before, was he not?
Yes, he was.
I believe so.
He boxed a few times. He became very close to. I mean, Jesus Christ, I'll have to look it up. But I know that him and Damon had a pretty solid relationship in terms of if Damon ever needed him to make an appearance, Dustin was right there. They were very, very close in terms of a good working relationship.
Yeah. You know how many I swear there was a ton of Saved by the Bell porn parodies that were made,
Oh, I'm sure. But didn't he do his own,
what do you do on the set if you're like, oh, you got to play Screech? You're like, fuck.
Anybody but Screech.
So according to, let me see. This is wiki. This is horrible. Never mind. It came up as it, and it said that he was versus Dustin Diamond versus Ron Palillo. I don't know who the fuck that even is. But yeah, so I know that he did a lot of matches there, which was good. He enjoyed it. He had a good time. He hung out with our buddy Supreme from the Funky Contradiction, and Supreme said he was a pretty good dude. Said he was a little weird, but you know what? I will never ever judge anybody negatively for being weird because everybody knows I'm kind of weird, and I think most creative people in any kind of entertainment industry has to be a little weird to succeed.
You are beyond weird.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll take that as a compliment.
Well, yeah, that's true. A lot of death, with COVID and all that. I just got a text. Actually, one of my cousins died in South Carolina. He had COVID, not of COVID, but complications from COVID, and needed a kidney transplant. And he was so bad, the doctor was like, no.
But here's the thing: if it's complications from COVID, COVID is what caused the complications.
Well, here's the thing: he didn't really take care of himself, and this is where we need to be preventive as a society for when maybe another pandemic comes where we have to take better care of ourselves to be more.
But how many people do we know that literally do not take care of themselves?
But all right, so I'm going to say you don't take care of yourself, Mike. I'm just joking. So, I mean, what I'm trying
I took care of myself twice before you got here.
What? Oh, wow. Not that good. Okay.
Where's that bell?
Yeah. Can we have the auxiliary turned up a little bit?
Turn up a little bit more, the auxiliary. There you go.
Come on now. Could barely hear it. It's like it's tickling his ball sack. So listen, here's the thing. But like you had a milder case of it, and so did I. And I'm not saying you got to be like fit like a fitness trainer. I'm saying you got to take it a little bit more seriously, because in this country, I think a lot of that, the culture is don't go to the doctor because it costs money, right?
Absolutely,
and that's a problem. That's a big problem. And that probably contributed to a lot of deaths that happened in COVID, or something where they could have survived it and they didn't. That's a whole nother show. But that is the culture.
No, I totally get both sides.
I'm getting harassed. I got a collection phone call and I told them to go fuck themselves. I got harassed today. Oh, you owe a medical bill, Mr. Godfrey, for doctors. I'm like, well, that was a checkup, and I was told preventative was free. And their excuse was you talked about something else outside of the scope of the checkup when you went to the doctor's office. So since I asked about a scratch on my back or something, now it's not free. That's healthcare in the United States in a nutshell. And that's a true story from a major medical provider, Penn Medicine.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And you know what? They'll never, ever get that from me.
So ridiculous. When
Matt
you
talks about that he's talking about me eating gummy bears and shit. First off, I was drunk. I was on vacation.
When you're drunk, all bets are
on
off.
vacation. Or holidays, they like to say, and I was drunk, so I don't really eat that ton of stuff. See, he doesn't realize that because he doesn't get to see me over here. I don't eat a ton of sugary shit at home, but when I go overseas, especially since the chocolate's better overseas, I'm like, oh my god,
I've never had it. So much better.
It's better.
Oh,
it's just, I think it is.
That's awesome.
Maybe it's just because it's different selection, but I feel it tastes better.
German chocolate.
He would know. But
I like German chocolate.
Yeah, but he's right though. Eating that kind of shit does not help you. At all long term.
Anything that's good and enjoyable and fun isn't good for you. So fuck it.
That's not true.
Fuck it.
Nothing's wrong with celery sticks. Come on. So, speaking of fuck it, and speaking of the UK, let's display a picture. There was a very interesting interview that happened,
So real fast, this is an interview on the BBC. A nice lady by the name of Yvette.
I love British television, by the way.
Yvette Amos.
Get BritBox if you don't have it. It's awesome.
Was doing the interview, and obviously from her home. And you see news all the time, nonstop. Everybody's doing interviews from their house via Skype or Zoom or what have you. So
this made world news, by the way.
This was something extra that was in the shot. Now, before I show this, I just want to say this to you, Godfrey. If you notice, this shot...
It was BBC Wales, to be specific.
Wales Today. The shot is cropped in a way that puts her in the lower right-hand corner that has the shelf behind her in full display. I don't know if this was accidental.
You think it might have been done on purpose by the
I think she might have done it on purpose.
Oh, absolutely intentional. Yeah.
to kind of.
Well, Jamie, do you have a lot of experience with dildo placement? And
to ignore
no.
not for the pun, but to slide it in.
Oh my God!
She was trying to slide it in.
Well, her name is Yvette Amos. Listen, anybody can make a mistake like that. Let's display the picture. I mean, this is a girthy son of a bitch too. I mean, look at the size of that. It's bigger than a dictionary.
Because that is not somewhere that somebody normally... Ladies, please chime in. That is not somewhere that a lady would keep that.
I mean, maybe you're picking stuff off the floor. I mean, listen, here's the thing about that. I've been on Zoom calls with friends where we're doing a virtual happy hour or just on a job interview or certain things, and I make sure that there's nothing in the background that could give a bad impression, like my room's tidied up or whatever, where the camera's at.
Right.
I don't have a dildo, but if I did, it definitely wouldn't be hanging over my shoulder.
I mean, she has a little. It looks like some games over here. Looks like Scrawl.
Is there Twister on that same bookshelf?
I don't see Twister. I do see a sign over here that says "Think Happy Thoughts."
Well, yeah, I mean that.
She's thinking happy thoughts, all right.
That thing looks like a goddamn kickstand. I think it's one of those ones you put on the floor and sit on.
I mean, to be honest, it might be perspective, because from this perspective, I mean, it looks like the size of her head, but it might be tricking us.
I mean, there's books on the shelf. I see.
Okay, I'm with you again. I'm back with you. That book is the size of the binder of that book. And a bookbinder is.
I wonder if she could get her hand around that.
I mean, it's veiny.
It's safe to say she was taking it deep.
It is safe to say that she was, and it looks like it might have a suction cup. I think Jamie pointed that out.
Wow! How did you fit? You have an eagle eye, Jamie, for the suction cup.
Might
How
have
did
a
you see that?
suction cup on there. Jamie knows his dildos.
I can tell.
Who told you? That was supposed to be a secret.
Jamie just wrote down the part number of the dildo that you can buy it from wholesale.
It's a priceless family heirloom. Someone said. That is not my
$49.95.
Right,
that is not my nice.
Jamie can get you if you want to get with Jamie later on after the show. He'll give you a referral link, and he'll get you wholesale price.
By the way, if you look at something to be a sweet Valentine gift, that might be one thing. Or Dick's by Mail has a special going on, and right now we're soliciting them to be a sponsor. And there's you can get chocolate buttholes. That's right,
chocolate buttholes.
You can send it to your loved one, and they can eat your ass.
Is that their actual slogan? Do they have that on nighttime TV?
I made that, but they're having a sale right now on chocolate buttholes. So the 14th isn't that far away. So if you get on the horn, you can get a chocolate butthole.
From what I've seen, I have seen this before.
You can bring it up on.
I'm trying to find it right now.
Just Google chocolate buttholes.
It's not that easy. So I've seen this.
You're afraid what's going to come up, aren't you?
I think that we won't get kicked off for this because there is no actual.
It's on Amazon.
No. What I'm trying to show you is that you can actually personalize it with your own.
Oh.
If you know the right guy to go to.
What if you have a volcano butthole?
Obviously, this old guy right up here is the right guy to go to that you could personalize it.
Yeah, well, I'm reading it on Amazon, and there's reviews. Apparently, the chocolate they're Belgian chocolate, by the way, and apparently there's 4.5 out of 5 stars out of 13,000 ratings.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and right here you can see it is the edible anus pure milk chocolate. That you can have. You can buy them generic if you just want a generic booty hole, but if you want to personalize, if you want to put that little extra here's
some bad reviews from Amazon. Chocolate arrived melted. Not sure why my first review was denied, but all it said was, the item arrived in a melted state without resembling its intended shape. As can be seen in the accompanying picture, the shape of the chocolates are their main selling point, so melted arrival should not be acceptable. So they're mad that it wasn't shaped like their butthole.
That's a reason to be mad. That's a justifiable reason.
Sometimes these Amazon reviews are fire and people get going, but this person goes 5 stars. Tastes good. Only problem is if you plan to eat wow, this guy can't even write. Plan to eat them out of their anatomical area. Make sure you know where the chocolate ends and the fudge begins. Wow. What he's saying is if you put it in someone's butt, make sure you know when the chocolate stops. The real chocolate. Jesus.
I would hope that there's a cleaning procedure before going to get this for your loved one.
This could be a gag.
You would think so.
You know what? You could send this as a gag gift to someone you're not dating anymore for a Valentine's gift. Like, hey, eat my ass.
What if they're excited about it and then they come back to you?
That's okay. That would be
that may not be okay.
I mean, maybe. I'm going to say most people wouldn't. So, gag gift,
I mean, if anybody gets this, let us know.
Maybe I'll send it to someone.
Oh, Jesus.
You guys better be on the lookout. Dick's by mail, baby. So, yeah.
Laura's offering up her services.
Oh, wow.
Uh-oh.
Wow. Wow. Oh, Pat doesn't like it. I know Pat likes it. He's like,
I mean, you were 100%
Ooh,
right.
Someone says, I wonder how they would do a hairy asshole. I guess that's going to be quite a process. I guess they would have to stencil it.
Right.
I mean, they can get, I can't.
It's gonna hurt.
What I was amazed by when you look at it, the detail of the wrinkles they get in there, and like, wow, man, they're really getting a close Photoshop there. Who is gonna go through that? Like, you know what? I really love this person. I'm gonna get a mold of my butthole and make it into chocolate.
After you've done that, for the mold and the chocolate, I guess they're not actually pouring the chocolate into your booty hole. They're just making the mold. Because if it would be great if they poured the chocolate into your booty hole and then you go home and you tell your girlfriend or boyfriend, I've got a scratch and sniff, come here.
By the way, wow. Wow. Woo!
Name of the show, Scratch and Sniff.
Scratch and Sniff.
Yeah, so
I'm writing that down.
I'm going to say BBC Wales probably had its best ratings ever after that.
Yes.
Please tell me this is photoshopped, one person says. Some have
I
even called
doubt
for
it.
Yvette to receive a damehood for brightening up the news report. Doing our country proud, damehood pending, one person wrote, while another added, nothing wrong with that. We have a display shelf with 8 glass dildos standing proud on it in the dining room. But while most found the segment to be amusing, others questioned if it was staged, with clip causing a divide on the important issue of whether it was a sex toy or a novelty sculpture. Let me tell you something. That was a sex toy because I watch porn and it's a tool, literally. So that, I believe, crazy. What a time we live in, huh? 2020. You know, if COVID never happened, we might have never had this gem. Think about that.
What gem? Oh, the dildo.
Yeah, that.
I thought you were talking about booty hole stuff. That's
Yeah.
been going on forever.
No, yeah, that, yeah. That. Speaking of butt, like the weather blew hard. You know, we all around here on the Northeast, we got a lot of snow. But Philly, it was a record 4 straight days of snow, just for the fourth time ever. And you know, it wasn't like it literally snowed each day. So doesn't happen too often. Not too often. Pretty crappy. It wasn't as bad in Jersey, but I lived in the north end of the city, or I do, and it got it pretty bad. I think we got close to a foot up there. And then the farther north you went, the more you got. Down in certain parts of Jersey, like you didn't get a lot here, right, Mike?
I would have to say at least a foot, if not more.
You got a foot?
At least
Okay.
a foot,
Wow.
yeah.
we got a foot. here.
Okay, so
Foot
everybody
of snow. I went out there. I went sledding. I did a snowman. I shoveled a shit ton. But on the news, it really did break my heart to see guys out there, like 70-year-old, 80-year-old guys shoveling. And I didn't see much of kids out there doing it. And that really pissed me off. Like, that was a good $200 day for a kid to go out there and shovel. That kind of pissed
Oh
me
hell
off.
yeah! I would make $200-$300
Yeah,
easy in my
on a
neighborhood
day
growing
like that, yeah.
Alex goes, some people genuinely love eating ass. Small demographic, I imagine. I guess so.
When you're drunk enough, it just looks like groceries.
Oh, Jesus. So, Matt, not, that would be me. Sorry. Mike's over here eating the booty like groceries. Well, so, moving away from the butthole.
Slowly back
Yeah.
away from the butthole.
It's crazy, yeah. Work was crazy this week for me. At my day job, you got to shovel a lot of snow, and that's a nightmare. Makes you want to move to Florida. But yeah. So if you guys want to call in, I was thinking this week about like 2020 and how it was handled. If you got a shitty boss, call in and tell us about it. What kind of boss do you hate working for? There's all kinds of shitty bosses. There's the do as I say boss, not as I do. There's sexual harassment boss. No one likes that guy. What's the type of boss that you dislike, Mike, that you may have worked for in the past?
In the past, yeah, because I was going to say, right now, if I have any of my employees from any of my places call up, you're done.
So we would call Mike the managed by fear boss.
That's what it sounds like.
I honestly have not had many bad bosses. I have lucked out throughout my years. I mean, all the way back from my first real job, and I'm not talking about like Wendy's or, delivering pizza. I'm talking about real jobs. Not that those aren't real jobs. I just realized what I said. I meant real careers that I started for a very long time. But L3 Communication in 2013, amazing boss for 10 years. Left there and went to another place, amazing boss. Went to where I'm currently at, amazing boss. And now, to tap it off, to kind of tie a bow, a ribbon around that, I am now myself an amazing boss.
Well, isn't that just great? Isn't that great?
I wouldn't go as far as amazing, but a boss.
You
yes.
talk to my team. They think I'm amazing.
Condescending boss?
I
Yeah.
talk to your team. Thank you.
Condescending boss? Yeah, that's the one.
No.
I don't like the condescending boss.
No, Mike is one of those good bosses, though. He supports his team and does what he needs to do for them to do their job right. So from what I understand,
See, I'm the kind
not
of
necessarily they love him. I can't say that, but they like working for him.
But that's the thing. Like Matt, you're talking about bad bosses. There are some good ones that you can go out and have a
I
good
think you
beer
guys
with.
are really not understanding the segment here. We're talking about bad bosses.
I've had one bad boss.
So be grateful if you work at a place where your boss treats you well and respects you and cares about you.
I'm sorry, I can't go with you. I've never had one.
I've had only one.
I've had some good ones.
Yep.
I've had some shitty ones. Usually the worst type of boss to work for is if your boss is a narcissist. That's the worst.
Well, if your boss is a narcissist, first off, I want to know how he got to that position.
They always...
They manage.
Oh my God!
They
There's
always
tons of
manage to get there.
Did you not see Trump? I mean, a lot of narcissists get to, yeah. It's not like they come out and they're like, "I'm a narcissist. Hire me, bitch." No, they sneak in there. You know, narcissists tend to, it's never their fault. There's covert and subvert narcissists. It's a whole thing. There's a lot of them. They're not just bosses either. But you're like, wait a second, how is that my fault?
I think I'm the most horrible person to have this conversation with. You know why?
Because you're a narcissist.
Because
He's borderline. He's borderline.
it's a Francolino trait.
Run, Laura.
That I believe.
But no, because I am a boss and I've been bosses in multiple facets, so I understand the trials and tribulations of a boss and why we do the things we do, which could cause others to think that we're assholes.
The worst type of boss is the type of boss that will lie to you, where you'll say something to each other and it will come up later on, and then he'll pretend like it didn't happen, and you know he's straight up lying.
that's a horrible. Yeah, that's a dick.
Oh, I've worked for plenty of those.
That's
guys.
a 100% look out for yourself and nobody else. That's
Oh yeah.
horrible.
Yes,
That's,
I know that type.
No,
Unfortunately,
you always look out for your team.
yeah.
You always.
There's no I in team, and if that guy's looking out for himself, he doesn't give a fuck about the team. That's how it works.
Absolutely.
But if you guys want to vent about a shitty boss,
Don't listen to me.
don't listen to Mike because he's ruined this. I'm a great boss.
My bosses would take me out to the bar. We'd go out to the strip clubs. My boss would get up on the pool table and dance drunk. One boss, I was in charge of keeping beer in the fridge.
Wow. Where do you work? KB
Toxic.
Toys?
Toxic radio.
No, that was toxic. That was those two. That was
Makes sense.
Magnum Computer Products, which was a printer plant, and I was shipping and receiving. The other one was L3 Communications because we had a union, and the union would go over to the bar with you at lunch and buy you shots.
Sounds awesome. Very European. So 856-485-9565. If you want to tell us about your shitty boss or you just want to get it off your chest and just let it hang out, say it with your chest, as we say, call in. Let us know how you feel. If you don't call in, go fuck yourself. That being said, moving on to the next segment, we got a few more honorable mentions, and that's what we've been doing. Screech, shitty bosses, should you have a dildo in the back room on a Zoom conference call? Probably not. But one thing I thought was interesting, continuing the GameStop saga, as I went off about last week, as you saw me display fiery passion about it and throw fireballs like I was a Mario brother, is, well, something interesting happened. They were getting a bad rating on their Google Play Store app. It went all the way down to 1.1, and then Google stepped in and said, wait a second, we're going to change it for you, and we're going to take care of all the negative reviews. It went from 4.0 to 1.1. Now, I ask you this. If that was Joe Schmo making an app, would they do that for him?
Hell no.
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 So, just another example of the rich taking care of the rich. Someone knew someone there, and they did it. But guess what, folks? It still went down back to 1.1. So you can go fuck yourselves because you can't control everything. It's just so funny. People want to benefit from a system, but, when it works against them, they're like, oh, no. The rules can't apply to me, right? So Robinhood's rating has dropped back down to 1 star on Google's App Store, and this time Google isn't riding to the rescue. So the trading app Robinhood has sunk back down to 1-star rating on Google Play Store, and because Google previously deleted 100,000 bad reviews written after the app restricted GameStop purchases. But Google is not stepping in for a new wave of negative reviews, it said. You better not, because what you're saying is that you can do that. See, they just set a bad precedent. Because they're going to probably lose business on a smaller scale. But now a bigger company that might have an app is going to try to step in and press and say, I need you to remove this. Listen, our app has improved. But, we can't really, well, you did it for Robinhood.
Exactly.
And it's complete bullshit. So the stock trading app Robinhood on Tuesday dropped down to a 1-star rating on Google Play Store for the second time in less than a week. And this time Google is around to the rescue. Google on Thursday removed negative reviews, as I was telling you. The tech giant said the new reviews are compliant with its policies and won't be removed. Oh, the other ones weren't compliant. Yes, I understand. See, the trick that they're using now, the mainstream media, when they're tied to the money, CNBC, things like this, is they're like, oh, this is how they shut down. Oh, there's hate speech in the Wall Street group. There's hate speech. Where's the proof of the hate speech? I don't see it. Where's it at? I can't find it. Just another example of big companies flexing their muscle. And that's why when I hear politicians, people say they need to be broken up, I'm all about it. Let's do it. Because if you're going to flex muscle like that and be a big bully and not a gentle giant, then you need to be knocked on your ass. And that's pretty much what's going on there. They said, this is what they said. It removed the negative reviews, saying that the ratings and reviews meant to manipulate an app's average rating or top reviews violate its policies. Well, so you're going to tell me every single one of those 100,000 did that? You had 100,000 violations? Wow. So, or are you removing it because they got firebombed? Because I've used that myself, and I could tell you, it's not a great app. That's probably why it wasn't 5 to begin with, or a 4.5. There's things that you can't do in there that are pretty shitty in general, separate from the whole GameStop controversy purchase and, stock purchase. So guess what? If you're a regular person like me or you, and we have an app that we created, a game or whatever, they're not going to step in there and be like, well, yeah, that violates the policies. Mike, you were stepped out for a moment, but they were basically trying to say there was 100,000 violations of, manipulating the rating. My ass.
It's utterly disgusting when you see some of this stuff and how it's unfolding when it is just literally the will of the people that are legitimately giving their opinions on this. There was nothing that was done that was outside the bounds of rules, whether it was the buying of the stock, whether it's leaving bad reviews, whatever has been going on. There's been nothing that has been it's something that nobody ever predicted or nobody thought people would gather together and do all at once. It was something unprecedented, but nothing beyond the scope of what should be allowed, and especially something like this where if enough people get together and they want to give your app or anything online, your store, a bad rating, you pissed off enough people to do that. That is your cross to bear. You can't just go in and erase it.
And when it comes with the app, it's not just about the app design itself. So you can't sit there and be like, well, function. Our app works properly. Why are they giving us bad reviews? Because it's what's done inside the app, jerk off. Because most people who use Robinhood use the app. And that's simple.
Yep.
And, listen, whatever the excuse is, they're not telling the truth. And that's the problem here. One of the things was they needed to get cash to, pay off the, I believe, if I'm saying this wrong, the market buys or whatever, they needed cash, so they raised about $3 billion. But the funny thing is now, if you want to see the flip side of the coin of this, so because conspiracy theories get on my nerves,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
They'll be like, oh, well, this is done, and then you ask the opposite question, and they'll be like, well, like I had someone say to me, a friend of mine last night, he was trying to tell me, well, the vaccine takes 12 to 15 years to develop. I'm like, yes, that may be true, my friend. However, here's the difference. The influenza's been around for a while, and since this is a variant of the influenza, making the vaccine won't take 12 to 15 years. Because,
right. Well, sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Because I know this whole story, too. The other thing is raising money and grants and selling it to people, also selling it to Congress to be able to get it into production takes a whole lot of red tape as well, which is included in that time period to get it to market. I just wanted to point that out as well.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, my point is you gave the opposite point, and they're like, well, you ask them why they say that's true, and you got to have both sides of the story. And the reasson why I bring that up, even though I got a little long-winded, is the guy who was behind the Wall Street Bets app, okay, apparently he's under regulatory scrutiny. Look how quick that works. Wow.
What'd he do?
Well, he's a YouTuber, and apparently he does work in a financial sector. So now they're going to try to frame it like he fanned the flame so he can make tens of millions of dollars off it, because he did. And but they're going to not talk about the people who made a lot of money off of it. but they're going to talk about just the people who lost money, and his name is Roaring Kitty on YouTube. So the SEC could cripple Robinhood's business model by enforcing existing rules, experts should say, which is true. But the news came after a day. He's going to testify on Capitol Hill. She was talking to Cheddar TV about this on Maxine Walters, California, and I am going to watch that. I want to see what he says. I hope he sets them on fire as far as what he says and grills them back. But, he's at risk of exposure to civil penalties. What? Because he's a securities broker. So there's certain laws. So the state of Massachusetts might try to go after him. Just funny how that pendulum swings so quickly the other way. You know what I mean?
So unbelievably fast.
Yeah, so unbelievably fast. But when it happens to a small guy, you're like, oh, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Talk to the next guy that's elected.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Fuck out of here.
100%.
Fuck you guys. And it's hilarious. So the state's, this is Massachusetts' top financial regulator, sent a letter to Mass Mutual, Gill's former employer, asking for details of how the company monitors employees' undisclosed business activities and social media use. Oh, so what you're saying is, see, this is going to become a free speech issue because I've seen interviews with securities lawyers that specialize in stock market. So I could be a hedge fund manager, go on CNBC, talk up a stock or talk it down, and that's okay. That's not manipulation. That's not playing with the market. But I could go on YouTube or do a Reddit forum, and then it's illegal, right? We have to enforce regulation. Fuck that, man. I'm so interested in this because this is a direct snapshot of when people say the system is rigged. 100%. Works well for the rich, not for the poor. And this is why you can't get nihilistic. And what I mean by that is you have to get involved because rich people know the way they can influence things is through government. But the thing they can't control, and you've seen it happen on both sides of the political fence, is personal donations, right? And what's great about this is shorting things is public knowledge. So when you prevent regular institutions from doing what they're supposed to do, then you get guerrilla warfare in the form of, okay, let's go after the stock market. That's what happens. And you expose the fragility of it. So I just think it blows my mind. They want to come after this guy for what? What did he do? Is it insider trading? Is he fucking Martha Stewart? Are you getting not like banging her, but maybe he is. But I'm just saying, is it really for what? Because he was on YouTube. He didn't tell. Listen. He bought it and he made money off of it. So you're telling me that you could tell people to buy stock, and then if you took a short position, you're in trouble because that happens all the time. People that short stocks, now understand that when you're shorting a stock, it drives down the price if there's more shorts than longs on it, and it hurts the company. Well, they were doing that to GameStop, and there's a couple other companies that they're doing it to. There's lists out there. It's public knowledge. You can find out. So you got a bunch of people together, and you're saying that they're not allowed to get together and buy stock? Is this what we're saying? Are we China? Because you would 100% criticize that country for doing the same thing.
Trump said China was going to come here if Biden got elected.
Guess they are. China. I hated the way he said China. It's funny. Yeah. The boogeyman, right? Yeah. It's every 4 years it's a different boogeyman. I laugh. This is the real boogeyman, though, because this crosses parties. This would be happening no matter who's in office. So, yes, and he hasn't made money till he intends on selling the stock, which is true. But even if he did sell the stock, so what? They're acting like this, oh my God, this is unconscionable. How dare he not have ethics? What about when you assholes were selling falsely rated mortgage securities as A-rated securities when they were D-rated securities? Where's those people? Did they go to jail? No, they didn't go to jail. So I hope people flip out if this guy ends up getting arrested or does anything. Because, people are watching us closely. Tread carefully, politicians, because we're watching you. And it's so different than before because it's right on Front Street. We know who you're representing. And if you're going to sit there and take that money and then lie to us, we're going to come for you. And I'm not talking about charging to Capitol Hill. Your ass is going to get primaried, you're going to get voted out, and you're going to get thrown the fuck out of office. Keep it up because we're coming. That's all I got to say about that. And it's true because you know what? When it touches the money, man, they move quick, don't they? I mean, lightning speed. You would have had to have like 9 congressional hearings to even get this guy to go to the Hill. Now he's showing up. I hope he comes up and just lights them on fire. But anyway, the story of GameStop continues. It's just hilarious to me. Speaking of another shitty company, so well, they're not shitty, but something they tried to do was shitty, and yay, we won. Was I was talking about you guys about how Comcast was going to put a data cap on the internet of 1.2 terabytes. Well, they said it was going to hit 12 states in March, and they're delaying it now. If you live in one of the 12 states where Comcast is planning to roll out a 1.2 terabyte data cap, we have some moderately good news. You won't have to start monitoring your bill for next charges until July, so they're delaying it. The ISP, because they want to see what the new administration is going to do and who's going to be on the board. So they're going to lobby. Don't think it's going to go away, but it's a temporary victory. So the rollout's been delayed. It gives us a few more months until the scourge of Comcast home internet data caps are truly nationwide. So, just so funny that they didn't give a shit about that. So, oh, you got that?
I just put it up there. It's what people were getting before they said, never mind, we're going to back down.
Yeah, and this is why you need competition. And when these companies get too big and they become bullies, they need to be broken up because it's stifling competition. Makes you don't have to have jobs, and that stifles innovation. So that's why I break these companies up. Unfortunately, I sell it. Take it from a guy that was in the communications industry for years. Minutes is where cell phones made their money. If you went over, remember the old school, don't go over your minute plan.
Oh, I remember, call me after 9 o'clock.
Call me after 9 o'clock.
Yep.
Oh, we got rollover minutes. Fuck me. This
nights and weekends.
Oh, you got to call my dog first, and then it won't count, and then it won't go against my bucket of minutes. Got to jump through 9 hoops and touch my butthole.
You had 500 text messages. If we went over that, it was 10 cents a text message.
You know how many fights that caused in houses? Kids got grounded, all kinds of shit. And I was sitting in a meeting with AT&T, and they were like, "Oh well, we're gonna run out of internet." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And a regional vice president was saying that. I was like, you guys aren't gonna buy more bandwidth?" And which they did in the tune of billions, because the government auctions off spectrum, and they said, "Man, how do we make money? Nobody uses minutes. Oh, we're gonna limit the data and say there's no such thing as unlimited data anymore." It's the same thing. This is what they're doing. The people aren't buying their shitty, overpriced, bloated fucking cable service. Nokia. It's a nice long-term stock, by the way. If you want to buy it, it's $4 a share. Just to let you know. No, there's truth behind that, because Huawei makes a lot of 5G equipment. The U.S. won't use it in a lot of European countries, so at least 2, Ericsson and Nokia. So they could go back up like they used to be a powerhouse back in the day. Whole nother story. I feel that way. I would take the long position on Nokia. Don't take financial advice from me, though. But what was I saying, Mike? You distracted me with the Oh yeah. So you're it's shitty. Like I set up my friend's internet who's listening, right? And I got him down to $63 a month. So they're charging him $14 a month for a modem, a combo cable modem. Looked online, you could buy that same modem for probably $120. Mm-hmm. Now, if they were a good company, what they should do is like, "Hey, sir, once you've paid for the modem, we won't charge you for it anymore if you've had it for, because you'll have it for 2 years at least, and they want to put you in this contract." Now, what's funny is when I was in the cell phone world, you would put people on a contract, and that changed because you were selling them an iPhone for $200, but it really cost $600, so you're subsidizing the cost. That's why you had to stay in a contract for 2 years. Now you don't have a contract because you're paying the whole price for the phone. That was the future. That's the way it happened. But they never had that with Comcast and Verizon. Like, they buy all these modems, but listen, and it's not even the best modem, but $14 a month. So the bill's $63. I mean, the percentage of what the rental is, and if you take that out to, now I have 3 TVs, I need a Wi-Fi router. Mm-hmm. You're paying $70 a month of fucking equipment rental fees.
Just equipment.
Your product sucks ass. So now what you're going to see is them trying to raise the price on streaming services, buy streaming services, raise the price on internet, because that's where people are going. And they're going there because that sucks ass. And that's not a free market. Make your product better. Make it better. Because that's way too much. And then you pass all the taxes down, because we learned from T-Mobile, that's not required that the customer pays that. You just pass it down to the customer, and that's another $20. My ass hurts. So, someone should send Comcast some chocolate buttholes. Watch, I'm going to be on a job interview with them.
Right, and
what did you have to say about us about chocolate buttholes? Oh, well, I didn't really mean that. That was my character, you know.
And and I can't explain right now why I'm dealing with Comcast, but you guys will find out soon enough why I'm dealing with Comcast right now, because I've already.
But only one in the area, right?
I've mentioned very many times that I use FiOS here in my house, but I'm dealing with Comcast right now because I need to get Comcast to an area that doesn't have FiOS. I called up FiOS and literally almost weeped, and they told me sorry. And then I spent an hour on the phone with Comcast because during the whole process of signing up for their service, each time we would take another step, I'd be like, "Are you kidding me?" There was one point in the step that the ad on the computer said specifically, "Your monthly cost will be $129.99," which, by the way, is already 3 times as much as you would pay for FiOS. But it said like $129.99 or $139.99. And I'm on the phone with the lady, and I said, "It says right there, that will be my monthly bill." And she said, "I understand what it says."
So
she goes, "I understand what you're..." Let me finish. "I understand what it says. I understand what you're looking at. Yes, I agree with you. But it's going to be more expensive." Why? Because it doesn't say there that you have to have the equipment, the modem. But it says they're going to come install everything. It doesn't go until you're actually paying for it, until it slides it in there. And she said so many people don't realize that they had to pay that extra $15 a month until it's actually come and installed. And then even a month later when they pay their first bill. They do some sleazy, slimy shit at Comcast.
FiOS would do it too. I had to fight with them.
I don't doubt it, but I've never
Well,
had
I'll tell
it
you
happen.
what, we'll move on with this. We don't want to make it a bitch session, but I had FiOS, and I split it with a bunch of roommates. Everybody moved out, and the bill was like $200. We split it 4 ways, not a big deal. So I said, I'm not paying $200. Fuck that. So I called them up, and I wanted to just have internet. They wanted to charge me a termination fee because I didn't want to have internet anymore. I mean, a TV. And I'm like, wait a second. And they tried to say I signed a contract. I was like, can I see this contract? And I fought, and they gave it to me. And, I'm paying for $40+ a month plus tax, but I have my own equipment, and they won't even tell you the truth. Like with FiOS, you can run your Ethernet from the box that they put in your house, and you don't even need a cable in there, but you won't get that from the customer service. You'll have to call tech support, and they'll tell you how to do it. And because tech support doesn't give a shit, they're not trying to sell you anything.
Yeah, well,
and
that's usually the case, yeah.
Right, so it's just funny, and you got to watch out. But one way you can fight back, and I'll do a quick review on it next week, there's this thing I bought called Winston, okay? And what it does is it blocks everybody from seeing you. Because here's the thing. They make money off of our data. The way we can fight back is restricting their access to our data. And there's ways to do it that are very easy. You can take all these little micro steps, but this little box, this Winston box, goes in between your router and your modem or your Wi-Fi router, and they can't monitor you anymore at all. And so I'll do a review on it next week. Very easy, very simple to use. $99, well worth it. But moving on to that, Elon Musk is that dude. Pretty awesome, I think. Dogcoin today, he was talking about doggy coin buying. Here we go again. As Bitcoin nears 40,000, Tesla CEO Elon Musk has sent the doggy coin price sharply higher. And I know because I own some. And went up 15% today, which is pretty awesome. So I like Elon Musk and Mark Cuban because these two dudes are pushing back against the industry establishment of, oh, well, you can't do this. It's not proper. And Buffy said you have to play squash and lick my ass. But anyway, that they're not those guys. And sometimes I disagree with Mr. Musk, but I think he's a great guy. So he sent it storing because he it's a joke cryptocurrency, and it's up an eye-watering 75% when he tweeted about it. So I think it's funny. It's like 50 cents a share or something. I have some myself, but you can make some money off it. Anyway, Elon Musk is that dude. I think he's awesome for that. And, Mark Cuban was breaking their chops saying, like, hey, guys, this is any different what, you do. This is faith-based, basically. And, if you're doing a long-term investment, you invest in a company that's going to do well. So what's the difference? So we're not going to get on that. I can go on that all day long, as you guys can tell. I'm pretty pissed off about it. But Yeah, is that the bulletproof truck?
Yeah.
He has some weird ideas, but that's okay, you know. So, that being said, we got our cuck of the week, and it's a familiar guy that is our cuck of the week. I know you guys are gonna be like, "What the fuck can this dude be 2 times in a row?" And I told you he's gonna be often a participant. And Ted Cruz is our cuck of the week again. Why is Ted Cruz the cuck of the week? Well, he is a professional cuck, and he is the type of guy that everybody gets mad at. Left, right, it doesn't matter. Even Trump supporters got mad at him because he started trying, once he thought, he had to distance himself, he starts trying to shit on them like he wasn't saying the stuff they were saying. And they're like, fuck you, you're bullshit. And they're right, he is bullshit. So Ted Cruz was kind of trolled by Princess Bride star Carrie Elwes. Or Luz. Am I saying that name right? Elwes. Elwes. Continue. They have a Twitter duel going on. He called him a miserable ROUS. Roses. The feud isn't over between Carrie and Ted. The British actor and Texas Republican senator took to Twitter on Wednesday where they exchanged jabs at each other. The pair have been firing back at each other since last year. Wow, it's been going on for a year? How does it feel to know that not only the entire cast and crew of your favorite movie, The Princess Bride, because Ted Cruz says he likes it, but almost the whole entertainment industry had nothing but rabid contempt for you? He put hashtag inconceivable ? Tweeted the 50-year-old who starred in the 1987 film by Rob Reiner. Everybody knows Princess Bride, right?
Yep.
And so, he says, Ted Cruz is just, have you noticed in how many movies often rabid environmentalists are the bad guys, whether it's Thanos or Go-To Watchmen? That's shit, what the fuck are these guys talking about? This is why he's a cuck. So, and Ted Cruz has a picture of that guy in his office, and he says, does this mean you want your picture back? Like he sent it to him. He bought an autographed picture of this guy. That's the guy, if you guys don't know who I'm talking about, it's the guy who has the mat. He's dressed in all black, and he has the mask on top of his head. You guys know what I'm talking about?
I don't think so.
Nope, not a clue.
You never seen anything like that? You never seen Princess Bride?
I've never seen it.
What?
Oh, I've seen Princess Bride.
Okay. Yeah.
You're talking about, oh, crap. Roberts.
Yes.
Dread Pirate Roberts.
There's a lot of them. So, all right, you know what? Fuck everybody with the story. You can go watch Princess Bride, and we'll come back to this another time. Fuck this. But he's our cuck of the week. And the mush of the week, we're going to get into some silly Super Bowl bets. We got a couple of them coming up. Furniture store owner from Houston, Jim Mattress Mackingale, bets I'm probably butchering his last name, but he's known as Mattress Mac. Who gives a fuck about his last name? He bet $3.46 million on the underdog Tampa Bay Buccaneers to cover the 3.5-point Super Bowl spread. Made the right move there by taking the spread, but he put $3.46 million on it. So, Mattress Mac, a Houston furniture store owner who's known for making giant sports bets, has placed the largest wager on a Super Bowl so far. Someone's gonna be like, "Hold my drink," and come in and do another one. The Bucs are at plus 3.5. He flew into Colorado Springs on Wednesday, logged onto the DraftKings mobile betting app from the airport, and placed on the largest bets ever. So you could put a bet for $3 million on the app. Jesus! After paying a little extra in juice, minus 177 to get the Bucs at plus 3.5, because I think he bought it up. I believe the spread right now is plus 3 for the Bucs, if I wasn't mistaken. But we'll, tell us that. Pat's listening, chime in there and tell us what it is. But there's a lot of fun bets. I wanted to bring this up because he's the mush of the week, because he might have mushed himself now. Wow. So, what will that pay him? We'll get you that math later. No one cares. None of us have that money anyway. But routinely, he uses the betting market to mitigate risk on sales promotions at his furniture store. He had more than $11 million in play on the 2019 World Series between the Houston Astros and Washington Nationals, including a $3.5 million futures bet on the Astros that he placed with DraftKings in Biloxi, Mississippi. Homer much? I believe the Astros lost that World Series. So, the two largest reported bets on the Super Bowl so far have been on the Bucs, in addition to Miguel's $3.46 million wager. A better with BetMGM, Nevada placed a $2.3 million wager on the Bucs. So, gonna be interesting. For the novice bettors out there, we got some fun bets that I'm gonna go over right now. But I just want to talk about this. So Illinois sports books told to keep Super Bowl action on the field, not on whether ads will feature puppies or Betty White. That's right, folks. Illinois, they were letting you bet on if Betty White was going to be in a commercial or future puppies. Now, why can't you do that? Because you might know someone on a production crew. You might know someone that's editing the fucking video. You might know someone that's selling ad time. You can get insider information. If you took that bet, you're a sucker. Now, especially if it's not a straight up bet. But Illinois gamblers now have their first chance to even lay down illegal bets on the Super Bowl. But forget about wagering on the length of the national anthem or what the commercial is coming up next, unlike in some other states, and on plenty illegal offshore books. Illinois bettors will have to stick to on-field action. Illinois Gaming Board Administrator Marcus Frucher said at a meeting last week his agency will only allow bets on activity directly within control of the jurisdiction of the NFL and nor individuals subject to NFL integrity policy. Good for him, because that is how it should be. I mean, can you imagine that? I'm going to put 100 if Betty White is going to be in a commercial. Come on, man. That is a sucker bet. So, if you're going to do a bet and you don't like football, there's plenty of bets out there you could do. And we'll go over them right now. Do you watch the Super Bowl, Jamie? I know Mike doesn't. He's playing World of Warcraft.
I will not be watching this year.
Really? Why not?
I will not watch another Super Bowl in which Tom Brady is playing.
Oh, God.
I will not.
So you are not a football fan.
I am a football fan, but I cannot stand Tom Brady.
Well, maybe he loses.
I hope he loses, but I'm still not watching it.
Right. So here are some bets that you can make. You'll have to find them, but apparently you can bet on who wins the Puppy Bowl. Team Rough is the odds-on favorite to prevail over Team Fluff. When the Puppy Bowl airs Sunday at 2 p.m. on Discovery Plus and Animal Planet, we'll find out which side has more bark than bite. That's a real bet, folks. How long will Jasmine Sullivan and Eric Church take to sing the national anthem? The over-under is set in a minute, 58 and a half seconds. Time will tell, literally, which side provides to be right. Coin toss, heads or tails, 50-50 bet right there. I think some places will let you bet, like if the coin toss gets messed up or someone drops the coin or they make the wrong call. What song will The Weeknd perform first during the halftime show?
Who cares?
Right. How many times will Giselle be shown? Wow. The odds imply a 2 in 3 chance she'll be shown at least twice. CBS wouldn't show her fewer times than that, would they? I would go with the over on that. Will a fan run onto the field during a game? This one's a long shot. The real question is, if a fan does run onto the field, will they bring their green hat? We're going streaking. So, what color Gatorade will be poured on the winning coach? That's a fun bet. They should give you good odds on that because it could be, but that one could also be manipulated too because, I got to tell you, if, and Pat says orange Gatorade, but if my cousin was the equipment manager, I'd be like, listen, you better make sure it's fucking orange Gatorade. Yeah, go over on the time of the anthem, I agree. No, they're out there trying to put it on display. So, will a player propose to his girlfriend on the field after the game? Probably not. But if you bet no, and we do see a post-game proposal, it's difficult to imagine a more heartwarming way to lose a bet. No, I would be screaming, don't do it. Don't fucking do it. I'd be screaming that. So you have bets like that going on, which is fun. So you guys, who doesn't enjoy a good Super Bowl party? You got the food, you got some alcohol. Who cares who's playing the game? I loved it when the Eagles were in it, but I'm going to watch it. Not many Super Bowl parties, but, there's, I'll tell you some bets not to take, okay, folks? I'll give you a few of them, and then we'll end the show on that. Our bet not to take, and I'm going to keep these simple for our novice fans out there, because I know we're not, our hardcore fans aren't really listening to, hardcore football takes right now on this show. Other shows will give you opinions on and stuff like that. But we're going to give you some ones that you might enjoy if you're taking a bet. And I'll tell you them right now. You put $50 on it, and I'll tell you if it's a bad bet or not. One bet that I wouldn't take. So Super Bowl MVP is one that, usually it ends up being a quarterback. It's rare that it's not someone. Last year it should have been the running back, but they made it Patrick Mahomes. Some people disagree on that. I highly disagree. You could do it any time touchdown scorer. I like Nicole Hardman at plus 200. You could do Tom Brady's passing yards, things of that nature. So that's fun. Does someone throw a touchdown pass? Really easy. Game props, there's so much more. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, if you don't know football, go with the national anthem. That's the easiest one. The Gatorade one's tough, though. So we got Super Bowl props. Here, let's go. We got coin toss. We'll tell you where it's at right now. Heads, tails, both -103. So if you bet $50, you'll win, close to even money. Coin toss winner, coin toss call result, incorrect. It's the same money either way you go. So that's not too exciting. But now what is exciting, if you want to get crazy, to win the coin toss and the game, plus 205 for the Chiefs. Now they have to win the coin toss and win the game, and plus 370 for the Buccaneers. I would go with one of those. Whoever you think's going to win. The thing that sucks, though, is if they don't win the coin toss, you're screwed from the door whether they win or not. Kind of sucks. That's what they call a parlay, but they're not really calling it, but that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, I think Pat's right. It'll come down who has the ball last. So, you also have, let's see, you can do total yards, things of that nature. So, there's a lot of wacky bets out there, so you can have some fun with it. But some people aren't watching it like Mike. He's going to be playing Dungeons & Dragons.
Dungeon Master.
So, yeah, guys, thanks for listening in. Super Bowl is this Sunday. It's going to be a weird one. They'll have people there. But, hey, we're getting through this. Onward and upward. Thanks for listening in. Sharing is caring. If you didn't catch the whole episode and you want to catch it all, go to facebook.com and look up the page Take It Deep with Godfrey. You can see the video, or you can take it deep with us on all the apps, social media. If our rating's shitty, they won't remove it for us. Google Podcast, Stitcher, iTunes, you name it, Google it, and we'll be there. Sharing is caring, and thanks for listening in. And this is Godfrey, not saying goodbye, just saying take it deep.